Last week I bought a coffee for $5. 10 years ago, this same coffee cost $2. I didn't imagine that. And you've probably noticed the exact same thing happening to your money. It's called inflation. And today, I'm going to explain it to you so simply you'll never forget it. No boring textbook talk. Just me, you, and a piece of craft paper. Let's go. Let's start simple. Inflation is the rate at which prices for everything, not just one thing, rise over time. Here's my secret trick to remember it: inflation isn't about one thing getting pricier. It's my money getting weaker. Watch this. I had $100 last year. That same $100 buys less groceries today. My money didn't change. Its value did. Now, a little inflation each year, around 2%, is actually healthy. It means the economy is growing. But when it runs too hot, 10, 20%, that's when things get really painful for everyone, especially me on a fixed budget. So how do people actually measure something this huge? They use a tool called the CPI, Consumer Price Index. The CPI tracks the price of a fixed basket of everyday stuff I buy: food, rent, gas, doctor visits, and watches how that total cost changes. Every month, people go around and check thousands of prices in stores and online, then compare them to last month. But here's something that bugs me: the CPI doesn't count mortgage payments, only rent and new home costs. So it can feel very different depending on if you rent or own. That's part of why the inflation number on the news sometimes doesn't match what I feel in my own wallet. There's also core inflation. It strips out food and gas prices since those bounce around wildly, giving a clearer view of the real trend. Okay, now the real question: what actually causes inflation? There are two main forces, and they work very differently. The first is demand pull inflation. It happens when people like me simply want to buy more stuff than the economy can make. Picture a concert with 1,000 seats, but 10,000 people want tickets. Prices don't stay the same, they shoot up. The second force is cost push inflation. This happens when it gets more expensive to actually make things, and that cost gets passed to me. Oil's a classic example. Everything needs shipping or energy, so when oil prices spike, it ripples through almost everything I buy. There's also a sneakier cause. When way too much new money gets created, each dollar I hold becomes worth a little less. Truth is, none of these work alone. Most real inflation is a mix of all three happening at the same time. So who's actually in charge of keeping this under control? That job belongs to the central bank, like the Federal Reserve here in the US. Their main tool? Interest rates. Raise them, and borrowing gets pricier, which cools down spending and slows inflation. It's a tricky balance though. Raise rates too hard, and you risk slowing the whole economy into a recession. Here's why this matters to me. If my savings just sit in cash, inflation quietly eats away at their real value every year. That's why I look into things like stocks or real estate assets that historically tend to grow faster than inflation. Inflation even sneaks into my salary talks, my loan rates, and how strong my country's money is compared to others. So next time you hear inflation on the news, you'll know exactly what's going on. Not a scary headline, just a real force behind every price tag. If this finally made sense, hit subscribe. I break down economics like this every single week. See you next time.